will the EU somehow back, the Ukrainian side so that they don't have to make as much when it comes to concessions towards, a peace
Yes,
agreement?
absolutely. This is exactly what Ukraine is trying to achieve as well. They trying to ensure that their backup as some of the NATO states, excluding US, as well as EU countries, maybe as well in the big steps, OSCE, Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe, will back them up in the context of their territorial claims as well to regain the territory which before Maidan actually, and before everything which erupted afterwards with Yanukovych being ousted out and Mr. Zelensky taking the steer wheel of the country has happened. But unfortunately, the problem is that the prospect of comprehensive ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine is so uncertain because there are very deep entrenched geopolitical and military factors, which we have to take into account. U.S. President has claimed that negotiation involves dividing territory. This is something which EU would like to support Zelensky, and Zelensky is really trying to have an extremely, extremely stiff stance on it. But the problem is it more important for all of us as a human being, as a civilization as well? And I'm not talking about Western, Eastern, Islamic, Christian, but human civilization as such. Is it more important to us to actually ensure the peace, ensure the ceasefire, to enable people to actually get back together to their places, to have some basic medical treatment, or we are going to question legitimacy, feasibility, and international acceptance? Well, ceasefire requires really a big compromise. The problem here is that the idea of territorial concession contradicts Ukraine's firm stance on sovereignty and the West's position against legitimizing Russian territorial annexation. They didn't do it when it was Georgia. Unfortunately, now they're stepping in and they're stiff on this, which really, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate to actually use all those delicate and fragile diplomatic tools to ensure that actually a ceasefire will be possible. It's a very similar situation to those with a Israeli state and the Palestinian state.
We see the similarities. We understand what you're. But let's also get Dr. Olga's perspective on it. Now, you've seen. I don't know if you've heard Dr. Camilla's opinion when it comes to the concessions and trying to push for a ceasefire for the better of the region, the world, and so forth. But beyond the immediate energy concerns that Moscow is discussing, how does Moscow assess the long-term geopolitical implications for fragmented territorial resolution when it comes to the Ukraine, especially regarding the security architecture for Eastern Europe, and as Dr. Miller spoke about, the security of the region and the world as a whole?
Well, the short answer to this question would be to have good relations with Russia, because that would mean the only 100 guarantee that the safety and security will be in the region of in Europe in particular. And if the European Union promotes the rhetoric of some humanitarian, this narrative, just the value of human life, maybe European Union should stop supply Ukraine with weapons. So in this case, we see certain rhetoric goes against real actions coming from European Union, but Russia's position, Moscow's position, was explicitly spoken. So, and like I said previously, so we need to provide our safety and security. And we see these hostilities in Ukraine. And on the other side, we see Western countries, and what they want to contain Russia. And it's not just only Russia. They want to contain China. They want to contain, or maybe just to influence the Middle East. And this leads us to the global architecture of the world order. And I think the dominance of Western countries led by the United States, it is coming to an end. It is something what Western countries need to acknowledge.